What is good, YouTube? Warstu here with a video on Legends of Tomorrow Season 2, Episode 2, Justice Society of America. Now, everyone is so psyched about seeing the Justice Society of America in Legends of Tomorrow. Me, not so much, because I don't really know much about them, but it seems a cool concept. So if you haven't already, please subscribe. Let's get into this. So the Reverse Flash is at large within this episode. He is the main villain who is supplying the German captain, let's call him Captain Nazi, for argument's sake, I guess you could call him, and he gives him something that supercharges him and turns him into an out-of-body freak, turns him massive basically, kind of like DC's version of the Hulk, I guess you could call it, in return for this emerald that he's after him. I mean, in the end, the kind of Legends end up getting the emerald anyway. So it's a bit of a fail on the German side. So we find out what Rex Tyler warned the Legends about not to come to 1942. But what is interesting is at the start of the episode, this version of Rex has no idea who the Legends are, why they're here. It doesn't even remember the conversation. So was it a different version of Rex saying it to them? Obviously Rex is our man, if you don't know. So that's quite interesting. And Rex gets killed in the same fashion that Cisco did before Barry ran back in time to stop that from happening. So I think what will happen is Rex will reappear once everything's been sorted towards the end of the season, but I think for now we're not going to see Rex for the rest of the episode. So the Reverse Flash gets the emerald, but what's more interesting for me is what's going to happen with the emerald, because I don't really know much about this kind of story arc in terms of comic books. So the Justice Society of America get into a fight at the start of the episode with the Legends, and they make them look weak pretty much, which is quite odd seeing as Sarah Lance was trained by the League of Assassins and she's a pretty strong girl, so she would own kind of Stargirl unless she used her staff and stuff like that. But it was cool. I mean, it was the only really scene where we got to see Stargirl, Obsidian, Owlman, Commander Steel, all kind of going at it properly. Obsidian, Dr. Midnight, sorry, and it's the only scene where we really got to see all the Justice Society of America. So a massive negative for me was they're building up this kind of season around the Justice Society of America, and we didn't really get to see that much of them, if I'm honest. And obviously, because the Justice Society of America is their era, they've got to look better than the Legends. So the CGI during this episode wasn't great, it was pretty poor, but you have to take in consideration that the amount of CGI this episode requires. I mean, they're Firestorm, they're Atom, they have like Vixen, so the CGI can't always be on point. But a negative for me was, if your job is CGI, why wouldn't you get the CGI on point even if the budget wasn't there to match it? The CGI could have been better. And for me, it was really poor, shocking. So the only two people in the Justice Society we really got to see was Commander Steel, obviously, because he's Nate Haywood's grandfather, and Vixen. They're the only two we really got to see within the episode. I would have liked to get to see more of Stargirl, Dr. Midnight and Obsidian, but we didn't really get to see much of them. So the historian who can speak 6 languages, as we are told, Nate Haywood, gets injured in a fight, and it turns out he is a hemophiliac, I hope I'm saying it right, which is a rare bleeding disorder in which the blood doesn't clot normally. If you're a haemophilia, you may bleed for a longer period than others after an injury. So basically you can't recover properly. So what happens is Ray reformulates the super juice that turned Captain Nazi big, and it basically helps Citizen Steel, Nate Haywood, recover. So it saves him, and it will turn him into Citizen Steel in the next episode. I'm 100% sure, based on the trailer for next week. It will turn him into Citizen Steel, which is quite interesting. And the kind of chemistry between his grandfather and him was quite interesting, but also weird at the same time because age-wise they only look 10 years different. But obviously he's from 40s, Commander Steele's from 2016, Sits and Still, sorry. So it was interesting seeing, and he was saying like basically like Nate was saying to Commander Steele that he is his hero. He had the dog tag, so it was just interesting them getting to gel with each other. Whether we're going to see much more of that, I don't know, but it's going to be interesting. So the Vixen, who we see in this episode, if you watch Arrow, it's not the same actor. There were some contractory obligations that she had, so they couldn't get the Vixen that was in Arrow, which really annoyed me, as I prefer her to the one we got in. But the one we got in is kind of interesting. It's the grandmother of the Vixen from the Arrow, so obviously maybe they're gonna like drop in the actual younger version of Vixen within the next season if Vixen stays around. I really like Vixen, and she draws a power from the necklace, which ironically gets taken away where they're like taken by the Nazi captain, and obviously Ray gets it back, and then she gets her kind of powers back. So that was a cool little bit for me. But it looks like they're trying to build up a Ray Palmer and Vixen love triangle. I thought after the Hawk Girl fiasco that they weren't going to do it, because Ray had Felicity and Arrow, and it's just he is not having a good spell with girls, and it's kind of funny and sad. I don't really like that part of Legends. To me, it's kind of more of a fun show, and yeah, let's drop that storyline. So Sarah Lance is amazing. She becomes the captain, the leader of the team, as Dr. Stein, very clever guy, got degrees and honours and professor, but he can't seem to deal under pressure, under decision making, which is quite unrealistic to me, because someone who's got a degree would have had to do like vivos and would have to do massive presentations to go back and forth with research and stuff, can't deal with some pressure. So that's just pretty poor for me. But overall, it was a solid episode. Sarah Lance is the captain. Rip Hunter will be back at some point. He's lost in time, I'm pretty sure. So my closing pieces are that I think Rex Tyler will be back towards the end of the season once everything's sorted out. Really hyped for a Reverse Flash being in this arc. But the only problem is Barry Allen. The Flash is going to have to come over at some point to help him, because I don't think the Legends can sort him out. The CGI fiasco with Captain Nazi wasn't the best, to be honest. And obviously the Ray and Vixen storyline, but not liking that. But except for that, solid episode. Would have loved to see a bit more of Obsidian and Stargirl and Dr. Midnight, but I understand the budgets and CGI. Most of them characters require a bit of CGI, so I understand why we haven't. So please like, subscribe and comment if you like these videos. I do these videos all week long. My current schedule is Supergirl, I upload Tuesday, Arrow Wednesday, and also American Horror Story. Then I do Legends, and then I just do series-based videos. And love to interact with all you guys down below in the comments. Love discussion. So anything that you think I've missed, let me know down below, and I'll get into a little debate with you. I comment back to 100% of every one of my comments. I'm not like some people that think they're too big to comment back. So yeah, if you drop me a comment, I will respond to every single comment. So Warstu out. Peace.